prohibited.
What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Trey, and as usual, hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. Now, we got too many people for me to just, point out, so I'm going to just let them all start. Q, we'll let you go, though.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Q, and I play basketball. I'm a hooper. It's nice to be here.
He occasionally gets a little buckets. I tutored him from time to time. He's a little athletic, Freddie. He's a little bouncy with it. He's a little quick. He always likes to do a spin move, though, that go into the defenders. I'm like,
Wait, hold it. He got
Get that little bucket.
They be trying to get Q in and split the defense with the stand. But then sometimes, like, nah, young fella, you got to chill out. You got to cool down.
23 and younger, I understand it.
Yeah, Freddie, tell him how it's going. Tell him how you doing, man.
Hey, man, can't complain. I would like to announce again my Knicks are doing very well. We just beat the quote-unquote triple MVP winner yesterday. We're at the GABPod in Julius Brunson. I'm a happy guy. All's good in New York. How's your team?
My team is straight. We still in the playoff hunt. You still confused. It's okay though. You telling your players is Julius Brunson? Who that? Who is that? Who is Julius Brunson?
Who is he? Villanova?
Yeah, that's what you said. You said no. That's Jalen Brunson. Julius Brunson is somebody on 2K that you see. He don't even know his own players. He's not a real Knicks fan. It's all right. Hey, look. You said what?
Somebody named Julius Brunson. I do this on a daily basis, bro. It's
You
almost like
really?
that Russell Wilson, Russell Westbrook mistake. Jalen Brunson, my fault.
That'd be funny if you did. And look, we got to do this properly because in the standings, I don't know I forget who's your team.
Celtics.
Yeah. So we definitely going in order. Celtics, and then Knicks, and then Wizards. Give it up for Sharp. Sharp, tell them who you are, baby.
My name is Sharper, and I'm a all-around basketball fan. Go Mystics.
Hey.
It's crazy. He didn't even say Wizards. That's tough. He's a Wizards fan too. I'll just let y'all know that. Mystics, I rock with you all. They are pulling you Wizards. But look, yeah. I don't want to harp too much on y'all really lack of success. Really a rough time right now, fellas.
I was thinking about you when they went on. I was like, oh, because I know you said I asked you, were you watching the game? And you said, nah, superstitious. And then when I clocked hit 0, I was like, oh damn.
Like, full disclosure, I just saw the score for the first time like 3 hours ago.
Oh my god!
Like, I just saw the score. I saw the notification. I saw someone say, like Freddie text saying, "Oh, Trey, sorry for my condolences," or something like that. I immediately put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Easily, like I didn't even. I needed a moment. I really did, and then just it got away from me. I don't know what to tell you. Like yesterday, Apple was my MVP. You know what I mean? Which is that transition. Because fellas, that's what we're here to talk about. The NBA MVP. I'm gonna just say this. Freddie has been very slanderous over this last season, right? I like to get ahead of the curve sometimes. He like to see things before he jump on the bandwagon. I understand that. He did make the statement that Nikola Jokic did not deserve to win MVP. Again, the deserve word is what I focus on. We've come to change that narrative. We understand what everyone means now. Like, he deserves it. Is he the winner? Okay, and so I say usually the winner should be, you need to be top 4 in win shares. Your team needs to be top 10 to 15% in the league. And if you got like a Wilder situation, I kind of use that because it's my last name. But like, if you got a Wilder situation, like Russ winning it because the triple double, like we hear something like that, all right, cool. So based on it right now, point in time, I gotta go Joel Embiid as my MVP. And it's a toughie. But he's number 3 in win shares for me, 0.1 off from number 2. His team is number 2 in the league, and that 10 to 15% is like number 4, 5, 6, right? And then, his head-to-head versus Giannis and Jokic, he's won. He's actually outdueled both. And the Jokic one, maybe it splits the series, but he destroyed him even though he got a triple-double. That's cool. But you drop 47 points, I believe, and you win the game. That's all that matters. So I go Embiid for that reason. Freddie, since you were the most controversial, feel like you can go next, and I feel like we haven't started with you in a minute.
All right. So once again, I got to clean up what he accused me of saying. I said Joker does not deserve to win.
They're reading the screen. They're reading your text
consecutive MVPs, and that's my problem. I said he's deserving of it this year based on, everything. And that was at the time. I don't think he's deserving of it right now, but it was always he should not be winning 3 in a row. He shouldn't have won 2 in a row. But anywho,
so I'm right. Win the MVP
again. Right. Is my first. Giannis is my second. Then I got Joker at number 3 right now. And for me, it's because he's leading the league in scoring for a second straight year. His team is top. They may have moved into second place.
Number 2.
Okay, number 2 right now. He's an elite defensive player as well. So he's in both MVP candidate and Defensive Player of the Year candidate. That tells you value right there, if nothing else does, right? And he's just, for as far as efficiency, he's efficient around the court as well. So, and then he has those big games, like you said, when he babied Joker to show people there's a difference in analytics great players and actual great players. Your eyes can tell you. So, yeah, I think he's made all the cases this year.
Okay. Let me speed past. Does anybody else feel differently about the MVP thus far?
Nah.
I feel like it should be the Joker.
We got a Jokic participant. Talk to him.
Please tell. I have all the
no. There is a case now for Jokic. Because right now, I'm in agreement with you on the rankings, Freddie, and Luka's my 4th. But with the flip of a switch, Luka could slide up to the 2nd. Jokic could slide up to 2nd too. Because if the Bucks start slipping and Nuggets start, going up, that would change it for me. Same with the 76ers. So Q, what's your reasoning for Jokic?
Well, I guess it was more of a personal thing. I personally would like to see him be the MVP. But
you want to see the 3-time in a row?
Yeah, but like Freddie said, it's a little too good to be true. Like you would think something about that. There's a lot of talent.
All right. So how do you view the?
Don't let Patriot protest you.
How do you view the MVP? Do you think it's the best player? I view it as a regular season award.
Yeah, efficiency in the regular season. I can see that.
Okay, I'm just saying because if we're talking about regular season efficiency, Jokic is at the top, like at the top. So he got you in win shares. I know you don't like advanced stats, but when we're talking efficiency, you have to talk stats because that's what I'm saying it correlates. So
you ain't got to talk advanced stats to the
what you want to go? 50 goal percent? All right, fine. The brother is shooting 60, 40, almost 90, Freddie. That's efficient as hell.
Can I say this? He literally does not defend. He stands in open space. Players cut behind him. And when he does play defense, it's because they're forcing him. They're putting him in screen and roll, and he's getting slaughtered. You see it time and time again. So I feel like when you talk value, just because you're being great on offense, and I still think Jamal Murray is their most important player because they typically go realistically as far as maximum, as far as just overall success when Jamal Murray is flourishing. So I've been that way the whole time, but Joker isn't gonna, when it really matters, lock down Joel Embiid, right? He isn't gonna, when it really matters, and everybody else, he's not going to go out on a consistent night and give you 40 and 20. He's going to do it on occasion, but he's not going to do it every night. What we've been seeing a guy, like you agreed, Joker doing, Giannis doing, okay, I'm about to do 40 and 20 again today. I'm going to do another 40 and 20 with a couple steals, with a couple blocks. I'm going to dominate on defense, then dominate on offense. Joker is just chilling on offense, a wide open offense. Denver's offense has been ran this way, especially at home, where the air is thinner. They're used to playing there. Teams always get slaughtered in Denver, and that's going back to Ty Lawson days, right? Gallinari days. This is historically been Denver for years, even before Joker. Like,
But
for
see,
me,
to
it's
your
just not that impressive because Sabonis is doing this year. You know what I'm saying? Like,
see,
so what,
Sabonis
bro?
is
Like, I get it's
Sabonis
efficiency,
is, but
60%.
isn't
He's
doing
a
it
great,
at the
very good
same
player.
level. Like Sabonis is giving me consistently 15 plus a game.
No, he's not.
Jokic
He's
is
giving you
doing it at
19,
like 20 plus a
close.
game. He'll drop sometimes. Don't get me wrong.
He's
He'll
not giving you
definitely
no
drop.
15, bro. Come on, man. Sabonis has been 18 to 20 points since Indiana.
I said 15. I said 15 plus, and I feel like the brother's averaging about 18.
Okay, so 18, 12, and 7.
And I'm saying fit, you know what I'm saying? But like Jokic is giving me like 24. Like it's a little bit of a difference. Like there is a little bit of a like Jokic is better. Like so when I think value,
He's better than Sabonis.
I don't think they're better than Embiid on the defensive end. We've already talked about that. Offensively though, he contributes more. So I think you factor that in, and I'll take the disparity that they are on the defensive end. I think it's sufficient enough. Like you can work. What I'm saying is you can work with that, especially when they play zone too. Like you don't. What I've learned is you don't always have to be an elite defender or even a good defender. Steve Nash was not a good defender, but you cannot talk about the history of the NBA without mentioning Steve Nash. So I mean, and in a positive light. So
bro,
I'm not talking about
they stopped giving Steve Nash MVPs because he didn't have any playoff success to the level of a player that was winning 3 straight MVPs, right? They gave it to him because of clearly how he made that Phoenix Sun team immediately going from 20-something wins to 60-something wins. He literally made the difference, right? And of course, Sean Marion, Stoudemire All-Stars, Sean Marion All Defensive, like all those pieces are there, great, but immediate impact. That first one, great. The second one, okay. Then they're like, okay, we're not giving you a third one. His third year, I mean, he had a case for it because technically it could have been better than his second year. That's all I'm saying, bro. And it's more
I don't think his third year you give it to him, and it's not because he doesn't deserve 3 times in a row. It's because Dirk flat out was better than him that season. And realistically, 06, you can give it to Kobe, you can give it to Braun, you can give it to Dirk. Like in Jokic's case, right, going back to 21, Embiid and Giannis both did not play too many games. So you give it to him in 21.
The first one is fair.
Yeah. So cool. We got that. Second one, again, I told you last year. Initially, I went with Embiid because I'm just focusing on what I saw, right? But then I also looked at the advanced stats too, and I said the truth lies somewhere in the middle. So I started off with Embiid, but then I also tipped my cap to Jokic too when I saw, okay, well, damn, Brady is really putting in some work too. So him getting the award, yeah, you can say it was biased. I also said, okay, well, you know what? He did lose his 2 dogs. And I gave credit where some people give credit for. So I looked at it as a positive for Embiid gaining Harden. Some people look at it as a negative because of that team chemistry thing.
Yeah,
so it depends on how you look at it that way.
Yeah, could we ask these two? Because me and you and Reese had this combo. Because Embiid had a better record that year. He started the year without Ben Simmons. They eventually traded for Harden like the last 21 games, but they were already a playoff team. And Embiid was, at that time, leading the league in scoring again. Still 30 plus, 10 plus, and like 4, shooting very good from the field. He had the Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons and all that nonsense around him. Harden came there completely out of shape as well. And again, they were killing before Harden got there. People didn't expect him to thrive because Ben Simmons was out and he didn't have that number 2 guy. But we could ask them, like, so where is the value? Is it more so the guy who was a top 2 candidate for both MVP and Defensive Player of the Year? Is that a more valuable player, or is a guy who was missing his I guess number 2 and number 3 guys, so to speak, and was a 6th seed? Versus the guy who wasn't be the 3rd seed last year or 4th seed?
It was 3rd.
Yeah, so I mean, he won 50 plus games. He was up there. Like,
did they drop the 4th or something like that?
Okay, so 3rd or 4th, they're still higher though. Is what I'm saying.
But I'm also looking too though, like people like Aaron Gordon's not playing the same way that they're playing now. Aaron Gordon's always been inconsistent. And then after Aaron Gordon, who you got? Bones Highland, like that's your 3rd. Okay, cool. Meanwhile, you have Tyrese Maxey, who's actually been hooping. You got Tobias Harris, who's giving you a consistent 50.
You don't give credit to Joel Embiid for that, though?
No. I'm saying they're producing. Like, okay, for example, you're talking about last year, right?
Yeah.
So let's pull up.
Players better. then I feel like his players should
He
have been
does, but he
elevated
also had to
around.
pick up a little bit of the slack
That's
too.
unfair.
Because when we're asking this question too, I want to give them some. I want to make sure that they can see some things as well. So I'm gonna have the screen up here with the rosters.
Yeah, because I just feel like, again, if Embiid's players are playing well around him, we didn't expect his players to do that. But we got to give Embiid some credit for his players playing well around him, right? We give our stars credit for players developing. Joker didn't develop his players enough, and he couldn't bring them along with him, clearly, if that's the conversation we having. Because we didn't expect to be
the case. But all right, so look. So he got James Harden 421 games, bringing in 21 points, 10 or 11 assists, rounding up 7 rebounds. Either way you look at it, that's tough as hell. Then you got Tyrese Maxey bringing in 17 and a half, but round up to 18. Cool. 4 assists, that's not bad. Seth Curry, 15 points, 4 assists. Tobias Harris, 17 points, 4 assists. Now Seth also played 45 games with them, so that's a good chunk of the season. I'm just going down the list right now.
But bro,
Joel Embiid, we talked about
that trade for Harden.
No, I just say he played 45 games for him. I highlighted that, but again, he played 45, giving them 15 and 4 assists, like shooting 40% from 3, almost 50 from the field. That's not bad. That's included. You got other players out here too. George Niang, 10 points. Like this is not a bad.
When are you gonna give Embiid credit for them playing well though? You're not doing that with Joker because the proof is not there.
So do y'all think that's fair so far? And I'm pulling up Nuggets right now.
Yeah,
they've been quiet for too long. Me and you been going back for
Nah, I feel like that's fair.
And this is the Nuggets. So you got Will Barton, 15, Aaron Gordon, 15, Monte Morris at 13. He's on your Wizards, Sharp. You know who he is.
I know that he is.
You got Jeff, Bones Highland, Austin Rivers. I'm sorry, Michael Porter for 9 games. Like I favored Philly on the team aspect around Embiid.
But can you say Embiid elevated his players? Did he elevate Tyrese Maxey? Did he elevate? You know what I'm saying?
So when you say he elevated his players, speak on that a little bit. Like how did he
the gravity around Embiid when he's on the court? Team are double teaming, triple teaming him. So that's going to create open shots for Seth Curry, who is an elite shooter. That's going to create more opportunities for Tyrese Maxey. That's going to create more opportunities for Tobias Harris because you have Embiid on the court. With Joker, he's doing it this year, but again, when you got Jamal Murray, who I consider an elite scorer, not an elite player, but an elite scorer, and Michael Porter Jr., who's a 50-40-90 type of guy, like you got those type of guys who go and get their own bucket, but they also can catch and shoot as well as they can. The team opens up, right? Why couldn't he? Bones Highland's a very good player, right? Aaron Gordon was there last year as well. I forget who else you mentioned, but Will Barton. Will Barton's a bucket. Like, why couldn't you elevate those players if you are who you're supposed to be? That's what I don't get. I've seen great players elevate less. I've seen Iverson elevate George Lynch and Aaron McKee, Eric Snow, Dikembe Mutombo, right? I've seen LeBron elevate those 7 Cavs. I've seen Luka elevate.
Okay, hold on.
Again, when he really quote unquote.
I got you. So maybe let me ask do you guys feel like Joel Embiid elevated his players more? Because personally, honestly, no one on this team roster is on the level of a James Harden. Seth Curry would be one of the better players on this team. Tyrese Maxey would be one of the better players. Like I guess, do you guys get the sense that Joel Embiid had better players around him, or that he elevated his teammates more so than Nikola Jokic did? Who, I mean, you're looking at what's your thought?
Well, I find it interesting that not only the roster or the stats, I guess, for the Nuggets is, I don't want to say mediocre, but it's underwhelming in the sense of like there's no other primary scorer except for the Jokic. And just to get back at what I said earlier, Jokic did play 74 games in comparison to Embiid 68. averaging 27, playing with a mediocre Nuggets team, not really much happening. Offensively, probably good defense, but I'd have to look at the stats a bit more. Excluding that, the fact that the Nuggets were 6 at this point in time, they were 6 in the West.
Yep.
Is kind of surprising to me. I would even go as far as astonishing, because they're not really putting in, anyone excluding Jokic isn't really putting up anything sensational. Yeah, like anything that stands out. Unlike the 76ers roster, who had, Maxey averaging almost 20. Tobias Harris had almost 20 as well. Harden was averaging 20 averaging a double-double. Almost a triple-double. And then you have Embiid averaging 30 points.
And I'd like to say for the record, Jokic was throwing up a casual 28 points, 13 rebounds, and 7.8 assists.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I guess for me is when you say he was, I guess, improving his team or that's tough, because I view his teammates as better than on the Nuggets. Like, again, Aaron Gordon's been playing well this season.
Maxey was averaging 8 points the year before, averaging 17. So I think that's something that we're overlooking as well. It's not like Maxey was averaging 20 and then came in and averaged 17. No, Maxey averaged 8 points his rookie year. And then coming in, we thought, oh, Ben Simmons not there, Philly's going to struggle early on. I think that matters as well, is what we were looking at, all that nonsense around Philly. Ben Simmons hurt, Ben Simmons out because of all his nonsense. The Doc Rivers and Ben Simmons fall out. Like, all of that took place. We were down on Philly. They come into the next year, and Tobias Harris, who's been asked to take a back seat, was able to get into what he got into, right, offensively, back into why he got paid, score a little bit more now. Therese Maxey was able to elevate and take the next step. And then, almost at Austin Rivers, Seth Curry was able to, that might have been his career high prior to getting traded, 15 per game. Like, that all came on the clock of Joel Embiid. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he had this whole veteran team of just killers. We weren't looking at Seth as the Seth that we pretty much look at him now, before that outburst of 15 per game. Like, I think we're overlooking that as well. And Harden came 21 games in. I give you that. They won at a high clip once Harden got there, but they were winning prior to Harden getting there as well.
But I guess it's just going back to how we all value the assets. Again, I valued his teammates as better, because again, too many people were inconsistent on that squad, on the Nuggets squad for me. Sharper, I don't necessarily think we got your take on this. How are you feeling on? Do you feel like the Nuggets had the better roster or do you feel like Jokic had the better roster or Embiid?
Oh, we on better roster.
Oh, I mean, the 76ers by far had the better roster.
So do you, in terms of the MVP race, do you give that? Do you look at it as Embiid brought out the best of those players because of his dominance, or do you view it as his team was better because his team was better? Like,
certain players, I feel like they elevate you and make you step your game up. Like, you know what I'm saying? You look at it like this. People know about Jordan and Pippen and Rodman, right? But some people don't know what, like, a B.J. Armstrong or John Paxson brought to the game because the importance of Michael Jordan, or Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, or Ron Harper, players like that. They made them step their games up, just like what Freddie was talking about. I mean, without AI, people not really talking about no Eric Snow or Aaron McKee or whatever. People not really talking about them like that. You know what I'm saying? Certain players make you step your game up, and they elevate you, and they make you. That's what part of it is. It's like, how can you help your other teammates elevate themselves and elevate their game?
Absolutely.
Because at the end of the
game, so you feel like Embiid elevated everyone's game, because I definitely remember Tyrese Maxey getting a little saucy the year prior a couple of times, and you saw that talent there. Like, okay, his rookie year. Like, Freddie, I can rock with that from a rookie year. And then especially, I'm expecting him to get 12 to 15 the next year. You go 15.
Okay.
But I think, Trey, what you overlooking, bro, is that you're trying to give Embiid, you're trying to take away from Embiid because Maxey averaged 17. Come into that year, they didn't expect Maxey to average 17. So
I got a
what's his name? Seth Curry was a 12-point per game guy prior to that year of averaging 15. Which Maxey was an 8-point per game guy prior to coming in at 17. Now, the guys that Joker had, you had Monty Morris and Will Barton, who was a bucket again, Aaron Gordon. Those guys were averaging mediocre to the same numbers as well, 15, so on and so forth. They didn't elevate the way Joel Embiid guys did. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you this.
I don't think when you say they didn't elevate, I don't think that's telling an accurate story. Because again, a guy like Monte Morris gave me about 13.
Let me ask you a question.
Like, I don't know. Because Harper, let me ask you this: do you think Monte is relying? Do you think he can give you a consecutive 13? Like, or do you think he's more of like an 8 caliber cat? Because I looked at that like he's making it easier for someone like Monte score.
Who is?
Jokic.
But Monte's all right, Trey.
Okay, let me ask you.
I'm asking the Wizards fan because he's on this.
Let me ask y'all a question. Would y'all say the 1 year that Kawhi was in Toronto, he elevated the Raptors play, and that's what got them to win the championship?
1,000%.
He elevated. Think about that. Think about the gauntlet they had to go through, and then they had to play Golden State. Like, would you say that Kawhi elevated? He made the players around him better.
1,000%.
I mean, yeah, they had, for example, what's my man that's down in Miami? Yeah, they had Kyle Lowry. They had Fred VanVleet. Yeah, but think about it. DeMar, right? The year before, and they weren't playing. They weren't clicking on all cylinders like that when they got Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard got there for 1 year. He was only 1 year, and they won the championship. He was like one and done, like college piece. But he elevated their game. You see what I'm saying? Like, one player can make a huge difference. Like, it makes you step your game up.
That's what Embiid's gravity led to a lot of that. Like, Monte Morris went from 10 to 12. So he increased his output that year. So it's not like he took a step back and all the players took a step back. I think that's my issue. Like, is that you saying as if these players were just like, oh, now we're playing with Joker. No, they actually played a little better. Like, but I just don't think Joker, because he's the offensive guy, right? His gravity's not going to be too crazy because you don't think he can.
But when you say his gravity's not too crazy, I guess my thing is you're saying Embiid scored 30-31. Well, I mean, Jokic scored 28 points. Like 31, 28, the difference is 3 points.
Embiid on the other end. And for whatever it's worth, if this was Joker's first one, I wouldn't even have as much problem. This is him going for a back-to-back. You need a very convincing case. Embiid had the better record, was finished second in Defensive Player of the Year, finished second in MVP. To me, there's no question who's more valuable based on that alone. And was the scoring champion as well. And technically elevated his players, bro.
So I guess the difference is ultimately just going to be how we view these teams, because I view it as this man had more talent on his squad than Jokic. Like, to me, it was impressive when I actually looked at the roster of Jokic. Like, a lot of inconsistent players, people who I don't value as like solid starters. Like, if I had to pick a roster, not a lot of these players would be on my team, and I'm talking about fantasy. So like, that's why I gave him the tip of the cap. But the whole point of saying he's in that discussion for number 2. Again, eye test wise, I did say Embiid, I did pick. But then I looked more at it. I thought Jokic did win it too. Because again, I'm breaking it down by team. If he didn't have Harden and still did the same thing, I probably would have given it to Embiid. Because it's like, I don't have anything to put it over. You know, I don't have. He could be on the same roster, but it's close enough. But you add Harden for that 21 games. That's 25% of the season. That's a lot when we think about it. It's only 21 games, but that is a lot though of the season. So, that's the reason why I kind of tipped the cap to him. But to get 3 in a row, what do you need for him to do this season? Or is there nothing for you, Freddie?
You know that. I don't.
Nothing. He has to win the champion. Okay.
Playoffs matter. He lost 8 of his last 9 playoff games, and you got to at least get to the finals to be in that conversation. Especially with the race this close, I don't think he needs to be winning 3 in a row. I think that's going to ruin a lot. I'm a historian, you know that. I think that'll look bad 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And if he wins this year, I feel like you got to give him to him next year and the year after. I feel like it's a slippery slope.
Not necessarily, but again, I understand the trepidation. Sharper, what's your take?
I got Joel Embiid winning.
Okay, I got you too.
Sure.
As far as who's winning it this year?
Yeah, because I know we talked a lot about it. So I know you said Jokic at the beginning.
I'm still rocking with it. As far as the previous stats of the season before prior, I'm still rocking with the Joker. Just because I feel like the team he was working with, there weren't a lot of tools. I mean, these are cats that haven't really gotten minutes, aren't scorers predominantly, known as being role players, and the Joker kind of just like took what he had and still made it to the 6. But as far as MVP of this year, I do feel like it should go into Embiid. I don't think Jokic should win a third, but I feel like if the Joker played better defense in the regular season, as far as being MVP, I'm taking efficiency in the regular season. Throwing defense, and yeah, I would say he'd be the MVP. But this year, I feel like it should go to Embiid.
Okay. I do just want to remind people, the MVP is a regular season award. I think it is a myth. I understand, Freddie, where you're coming from on the historian aspect. Yes, everyone technically has won a championship, but the MVP is a regular season award. It's never been based on the championship. Like you can say some things were tricky sometimes.
Yeah, it's not true, Trey. That's
never really based on a championship.
Bro.
I mean, I hear you. I made a whole video about it. I gave some examples. I mean, if you want to state your case as to why not, that's cool. That's another discussion for another day. I mean, I hear you. I hear you. But I greatly appreciate y'all boys.
Yeah, the division was trash last year too. I just want to put that out there. The division was trash.
The division was trash last year. I mean, y'all weren't. I mean, y'all might have been trash. I don't think your division was trash, Freddie.
So he did that in the trash division.
Oh, you meant the one you play in? Because y'all know this is Tim Hardaway Jr. So I get you. I got you.
But yeah, that division was trash. So he played well in the trash division. I just want to put that out there. He played all in the trash.
That's so tough. That's so
trash.
Such a Jokic hater. Such a Jokic hater. And that's his ending message too. That's so wild. Like that's like I guess. Sharper, you got anything you want to say?
Nah, man. Just hopefully that we can keep losing these games and maybe draft Wemby.
Who's we?
What about Scoop though? What about Scoop?
I don't know. Scoop been struggling. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's tough. Wizards fans do not want Scoot Henderson. Clipping it up on social media.
No, hold up. See that? Hey, Freddie, you see I didn't say that. He said what I said. Wemby. I didn't say I didn't want Scoot. I said he's struggling.
You said Scoot been struggling, implying that you do not want him because the question was asked, "Do you want Scoot Henderson?" And you said he's struggling. That implies that you don't want him. So you want Scoot Henderson?
Yes or no?
So you want Scoot Henderson?
America, look at me. Look at my face. Look at my eyes.
You want Scoot Henderson?
I did not want that man.
You don't want Scoot Henderson?
I didn't say that. Hey. I would be happy either or, Wemby or Scoot. There you go. I just say he's been struggling.
Hey, fellas, I just want to throw one more thing out there, and then I'll leave it alone. Joker played in the worst division last year, and Embiid played in the best division. But I'm done. I just want to get that out there.
He dropped the mic on that one.
Jokic did play with the All-Star. All right, so
y'all teams make the playoffs like mine is.
You said what about your is it one or none? I don't know. It's one of the two because I know they rhyme. Is it one or none champions for you guys, Freddie? Is it one or none? I know the words rhyme a lot. So I get you got two.
We got two.
Good for you. That's cute.
Yeah.
Oh, you rhyme the two? Good for you. Okay, with the Sesame Street.
Look like Cat in the Hat. That's why.
Q, you got anything you want to say before we close this out? No. All right, well, fellas, I greatly appreciate
Who's Q's team?
Celtics. The Boston
Okay.
Celtics.
Yeah. Y'all probably lost today. I don't know if y'all played or not. I'm just taking y'all lost today, whether y'all played or not.
Who did we play?
I don't even know.
Y'all about to trade Jason Tatum for a bag of chips.
Oh, no. We can't do that. No.
We about to find out. But ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all have a wonderful one. Thank y'all for tuning in. And until next time, take care.
All right, fellas, it's been real.
I did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this.